Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It's a live edition of Matthews in the Morning coming to you from the International Diamond Center Studios, locations across the state of Florida, right there in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. Go check them out. Also, Comfort Temp Heating and Air is your number one local HVAC company. Visit them at comforttemp.com. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Jags, big win for them over the Chiefs right at the last second of the game. They're a good team, man. I ain't gonna lie. Also, the Dodgers beat the Phillies, and they go up 2-0, as do the Milwaukee Brewers. Today, you'll have the American League teams playing. Today's program, we'll have Buddy Martin. We'll have Will Johnson, who is the sideline reporter for the Texas A&M Aggies, get his thoughts on the Gators coming to College Station. Let's go to the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We're joined by the host of the Buddy Martin Show, Buddy Martin himself. Good morning, Buddy.
Good morning, Shane. Be sure and ask Will about the surprise of the swamp. A lot of them seem kind of surprised. It was so loud and boisterous.
Well, they beat our ass in the swamp last year, buddy.
I know, but they said, well, but not Texas didn't.
No, but he's with Texas A&M.
No, but okay. I thought you said Texas. Yeah, no, I know they don't. But Texas, we talked about last time on the show and how they seem almost surprised that when they got here, the Texas folks, that the swamp was so little because everything in Texas is bigger. One guy said you could drop the swamp inside of Kyle Field, because Texas, everything's bigger is better. Anyway, I thought it was kind of funny. And they showed respect. A lot of them did say they respected it and respected what they did. But I think maybe they just didn't understand what they were up against. And there's no question, we talked about it, as you said, the swamp became part of this script. And in that second quarter, when there were problems with injuries, et cetera, not knowing exactly if Lagway was going to come back, I think the swamp stepped up. But in the last 5 minutes, they couldn't get a playoff, Shane. It was just too loud.
Yeah, it was a great day in the swamp. We talked about it. The crowd was outstanding. The line of scrimmages are what won it for us. No question about that. We got some text here on the Titan MR text line. I guess these came in overnight. This one says, we whipped Texas ass on both lines and still only won by a touchdown. This is my issue with Billy. He leaves such a slim margin for error in every game. He has no killer instinct. Lane wins that game by 30. Don't get me wrong, love the win, but this is why the overall program is where it is and why for every Texas win is a USF loss.
How do you feel about that?
Well, the facts are the facts, right, buddy? What are we, 21 and 22 or something like that under
Yeah,
Billy?
21-22. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what has shown. History says that's what does happen. And then Josh on the Titan MR text line from Mama says, QB wise, Katie Daniels not getting any snaps at running back. I have no idea. I love the guy. But not everybody can play. Not everybody can play. So
might be hurt because they could have used it.
He ain't hurt. He ain't hurt.
No.
I do know that. He's dressed out.
Why Mama's up around up in that panhandle area. But anyway, yeah, so I want to make sure that I give Arch Manning his due. He played really hard. And he if anything, according to Stark, at his press conference, I watched him yesterday, his teammates gained new respect for him. Well, he battled back. He made some unbelievable plays and throws, and he just got, but the defense was just all over him. I believe I read it was 35 hurries. Is that right?
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, what a defense. This defense has been spectacular, and it really does make it a different team. And I'm of the mind, Shane, I think you are too, take the W, enjoy the W. Probably going to get beat this week. Not going to be in the playoffs. It's dumbed down on our intentions and what might be. Not going to be a playoff this year. Billy may or may not get fired. Probably will. The guy we want is busy. He ain't coming right now, if he's coming at all. And so we'll see how about the next. But right now, today, this week, on this Tuesday, on your show, it's really good to be talking and writing about this football team, the Gators. They're fun right now.
Yeah, Barone71 on YouTube, brought to you by Quad Plum, says, do you think Vernell Brown might phase Trey Wilson out of snaps? Vernell Brown seems more like a stronger version. He's a better player. Uh, I think Trey Wilson is a shifty wide receiver, gadget guy. I don't think he runs great routes. I don't think he has great ball skills compared to Vernell.
Well, it's all about the other Wilson. As I said last night, I've never seen a debut like that of a player. Just in every way, physically, the way he went up with the balls, and we talked about the catches last night. That run down the sideline, that was spectacular. I mean, he made a 360. One guy missed twice and wound up dragging a guy in the end zone who was holding his leg. But man, at number 6 is some kind of special player. I can't wait to watch him play again. And he may sneak up on a couple of people. And I think the better he plays, the better more chances Rodell's going to get too.
I don't think he'll sneak up on anybody because he was a 5-star coming out of high school.
No, I'm just saying. Well, they didn't have an answer for him. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So. Rick in Jupiter says, QBD, have you seen what Disney and ESPN is doing to Paul Feinbaum? It's truly un-American.
It's not true.
It's not?
No. It was something put up by Outkick. Feinbaum denies that. It's not true that the ESPN's putting him, not letting him appear on certain shows because he stated a preference for running for office. I mean, Feinbaum's not a liar. He might be a lot of things, but he says it's not true. So someone put that out there, and now it's true.
All right. Well, we'll see if he goes on the shows, I guess.
Well, he wasn't on one, but he was on the rest of them already.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, look, you know how they take on a life of their own? Buddy Martin says Shane Matthews is going to be in a Hollywood movie starring, in a Burt Reynolds role. And it's on the internet, and people say, oh, I heard Buddy Martin say that. That's fact. And you pass it on. It's like that old game where you whisper something and it becomes something else anyway. I mean, look, you can believe what you want to off the internet. Some good things come from it. But according to what everybody says, and in my communication with Paul, that is just not an accurate story. So anyway.
Okay.
Once you declare for office, now that's a different. He didn't declare for office. Once you declare for office, that changes things. But he did say he expressed to me he was interested in. He was asked about, the possibility, and he got a phone call from somebody very high up. I'm gonna say it's Tupperville, so I'm gonna say it would be because he's the guy running for governor. He's vacating the seat. This is just my guess now. Don't quote me. This is what I'm guessing. And then, they got interested enough to say you could be a force. You could be the senator from Alabama. That's pretty heady stuff right there. And I've got to tell you, he got a great job making a lot of money, but you don't get to be senator of your state very often.
This text from Rick in Jupiter says, I am still noticing fans that are rooting for us to lose so they can get a new coach. Do you agree with this mentality, or I should ask, what is your take on fans that are doing this? I don't think you should ever root against your team to lose a football game or basketball or whatever for a new coach. Look, I think Billy's got to make to be the coach next year. I really think it's like we got to win every game. That's just my personal opinion. I have no insight, but I'm going by the body of work over 4-year period, right? So that's my 2 cents. But
and I hear you, and I don't disagree with you. I think the thing is you have to say who's available. The guys that we apparently have targeted are not available at this moment.
Well, no, but buddy, remember,
I know how it works.
Everybody is available at the end of the season.
I know how it works. That's what I mean. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't you just give him a Ron Zook contract and say, we'll pay you to coach the rest of the year? Because there's not a good interim. And say that at the end of the year, and we'll give you a nice goodbye check, and then we'll hire a guy, whatever. I mean, there's a money group out there, strong bunch of people who said, we want Urban to come in here for 2 years. We'll pay him great money, give him a lot of NIL money, and he picks a successor. That's not a rumor. That's true. That's one of the money groups, what they've expressed. You and I have had this discussion for a long time. You're probably right, but I'm going to stick to what I've said. Lane Kiffin would be a great choice. I'd love to see him come here. You say he'd take the job in a heartbeat. I'm not so sure of that after seeing him in
Don't worry
Oxford.
about that damn Hollywood movie, buddy, you watched.
Yeah,
Trust me.
I'm going by what I believe, what I
Yeah.
see with my eyes, and that's all I
Well,
could do. I'm just saying to you, it won't be a slam dunk. Does he want it? Yeah,
that's perfectly fine. My argument is if we don't offer him the job, that
I
is a
know.
serious problem from the people in charge.
I agree, and I
That's
said that
all
in
I'm
my
saying.
column. I said it. I quoted you as saying it, and I know what you. And I hear what you're saying, and I agree. You got to offer the job to him. But at
Yeah.
this point in
Then after that,
time,
whatever happens, happens. But
but Shane, we're not in the business of predicting games and the scores and the game's over. We try to see things in advance, and I trust what you say. You know a lot. You know him. You have knowledge of it, and I have you full credit for that. Get respect. But I'm just saying it's an instinct with me, and I could be totally wrong. Maybe you'll just knock the doors down and come. He doesn't seem like a guy who is anxious to jump out and run down the street.
I've already given all the reasons why he would stay at Ole
I
Miss.
know.
And again, I don't have a problem if he does. I have a problem if you don't offer the best
I
guy in
agree.
America for the Florida Gators
So you're
job.
blaming Scott Strickland right now.
I don't know who's in charge of the hiring. That's
Well,
my
you know
point.
he has a big say in it.
Yeah, but there's other people involved.
The money people, they're the ones who
Well,
want
the
her.
money people want the guy I want. I know that for a fact.
Okay, well, different money people, I
Yeah,
guess,
we have
because,
two different money groups, I
yeah.
guess. Yeah. Um, all right. So in the meantime, Ruse Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. We got Buddy Martin here. We'll have Will Johnson, the sideline reporter, get his thoughts on the Aggies and the Gators. Um, this right here is a text on the Titan Omar text line. It's Chris in Mayaca. He says, "Tell Buddy why Mama is southeast of Tampa."
Oh, I got it mixed up. It's and what I'm thinking about is different town. Sorry, you're
He
correct.
also,
I know that now. But again, by the way, last night I got accused of having dementia because I had a minute where I couldn't remember Roman Harper's name, and some guy says, "Well, that's what dementia." Well, okay. I mean, sometimes I forget. Maybe you don't, but
and he says it's a fact that ESPN doesn't allow right of center talent express their views on or off air. Ask Sage Steele and Samantha Ponder. I don't know what that means.
okay, look, that's your theory, all right? And that's true. They don't like it, but they can't do anything about it. They're going to bounce a guy off the air because he's been picked for a possibility of being the center from Alabama. He hasn't said he's going to do it. He hasn't declared. So, I mean, yeah, again, these gray areas are hard to figure out. They're hard to explain. They're hard for people to understand. I know it's tricky, but just don't. That's Outkick's version of it, and Feinbaum says it's not true. That's good enough for me.
This is Russ in South Carolina. Says thanks for explaining Cormani's play on Saturday. Corners just get beat sometimes. I'm 6', 255, sitting office chair all day. Yeah, he's gonna get beat. He's gonna get beat the rest of the year too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just like the Texas DBs got beat when our receivers ran routes. It
Mm-hmm.
happens.
Shane, can you go if you have a minute just re-explain because people keep asking me about the timeout. I did see a guy last night who knows a little football say, stop making critical comments when you don't know what you're talking about, which we've all done at some point in our life. But, they say, well, Billy's a dumbass. Call that
Mm.
10 miles as stupid as that goes, costs us, anything he does a lot wrong. I don't like some of his play calling. I don't like some of his decisions. But the fact is, as far as I can understand, and I don't have a lot of knowledge of this, and you have a lot more than I do, is that calling a timeout was not a dastardly deed. That in fact the clock was going to stop anyway, and it didn't matter. Now, you re-explain what you said last night.
Yeah, so I had to learn the rule too. These new helmets coming off are new rules that just came into place, but we ran the play. Austin Barber's helmet came off. He has to go out of the game. Okay.
Mhm.
I don't understand why when they we if the I thought the rule was you put a guy right back in like you do on every play. They start the clock. We run it down. We snap the ball with 2 seconds or 1 second, run another play because Texas has no timeouts. However, at that point in the game, I guess since it's under 2 minutes, it's a dead ball. So it's a 15-second runoff or 10-second runoff, I should say. Well, obviously, we'd love a 10-second runoff, but Texas gets a choice. So we it's a dead ball. The clock is not going to start until the ball is snapped on the next play. So if you call timeout, you can get that player back in, and that's what Billy did. Billy knew the rule. I didn't know the rule.
Well, we did say he did something right. Well, that's rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I thought he did something wrong. I said it on the air.
I listened to you
There's
the
so
whole
many damn
game.
new
I
rules
heard
that I
you.
don't know, and I don't really need to
And
know because I ain't coaching. So
why don't you get a rules maker guy like they got on TV to be right there with you and on the air and say, "What do you think?" No,
yeah,
they got
I'm not
these.
in charge of that. I just do what they asked me to do. Um, Zach wants to know were they trying to pull his helmet off to stop the clock? I don't know if
Hmm.
they're smart enough to do that either, but maybe Sarkeesian told them to. I don't know. Could be. Could be a new rule we have to look at the over the summertime. So Buck says on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law, the timeout wasn't a big deal. Who wants to put the backup left tackle in on third down? That's another good point. It would be a big deal if the clock wasn't going to start, but the clock wasn't going to start until the ball was snapped. So
Shane was amazing. It's that Manning had to come out of the game, and they put a guy in, and what did he do? He threw the ball. Remember, we talked about that. It's a great time for a guy to come in and throw the ball on the first play. And they threw a nice pass. They completed it. That no one expected him to throw at that point. So
who is this?
the guy who came in from Manning when he had to
Well,
leave
he
the
had
field.
to, buddy. They were in a
I know, I get it,
he
but I'm
had to throw
saying
it.
he threw the ball.
Yeah.
He didn't just take it and take a knee or whatever like you expect him to do. That's a spurrierism, right?
Well,
They
yeah,
don't
but
know.
it was a 2 minute drive at the end of
Yeah,
the game. They had to
yeah.
throw it. He
But
had to
the
throw
point
it.
is, they had no problem throwing the ball, but and they threw a nice ball and completed it.
Yeah. All right. Let's get another text here. Here's a text from James from Williston. He wants to know, buddy, in your opinion, how many games does Billy have to win to keep his job? We get one of these every day.
Pretty much all of them, I'd say. And if they compete like they played on Saturday every night, and they end up winning 6 games, he might have a chance of being it. But I think they made up their mind mentally and emotionally to move on to another coach. And I think he's going to have to. He's coaching for his job every play, every down, every minute, every game.
Brent says on YouTube, brought by Quad Plum, even Andy Reid and Mahomes got penalized for their goofy mistake
Yeah,
last night. I didn't see
yeah.
it. I don't know what they did. What did they do, buddy?
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. The penalty. I'm not sure you were talking about there. I was talking about the play. I misunderstood what you said. Trevor Lawrence stumbled, fell, was trying to get rid of the ball and throw it out of bounds, and he shoveled into the end zone. They won the game in a very goofy play. But now the goofiness, I don't know what he's talking about. No, I don't know.
Yeah. Chris says on YouTube, brought to by Quality Plum, the fact is we never even should have been sweating the end of that game out. Billy has no killer instinct. However, Chris, we were up two scores and we threw an out and up. DJ threw an interception. So he was going for the juggler.
Good point. Very good point.
I thought it was clearly Billy and the staff's best game they've had in 4 years. Clearly. And the kids played great.
Does he deserve a little credit just every now and then?
Yeah,
I mean,
but I think as fans of your own team,
yeah.
you forget the other team has good coaches and good players, right?
Yeah.
It's never ever going to go smooth, trust me. I mean,
What's the famous quote from the HBC? They got scholarships too, right?
yes, they do. Yes, they do. Go Gators, 1984 on the Titan MR text line. No, my bad. That's YouTube. He says, Shane, is there any former Gator players you'd like to see in the head coaching position? I'd love to see someone that knows the DNA makeup of this program running things. There's only one, and he's been a head coach his entire life at every level.
Kerwin Bell.
It's Kerwin. And Kerwin is as good as anybody in America on offense. Just just pull up his bio and read how his offenses do. And his quarterback was 46 for 46 the other day, ended the game 53 of 56. So,
Shane, why didn't he ever get a chance?
well, he did. He's been a head coach and
No, at Florida.
The biggest mistake he said he ever made was going to be an offensive coordinator for Charlie Strong at South Florida
Wow.
because he had better players at Valdosta State than he did at South Florida, and he
Mm,
couldn't do it his way. And he said he would never, ever work for somebody else again because he'd never worked for
I
anybody else. He was
understand.
always in charge.
Yeah. Good
So
man. Never got a chance.
Joseph says on Facebook, brought to you by Meldon Law, he says, we might could have squeaked into the playoffs with 3 losses, but one of those 3 losses couldn't be USF. Yeah, we're not
No.
getting playoffs. It doesn't matter.
But
We're
Shane,
done.
take that out, good game out for a moment. Take it out for a second. Now look at the record. Now, what do you think?
Well, take out the LIU win.
Well, no. I mean, you leave it in there, but I'm saying to you is that we thought they'd be somewhere around 3-1 or 2-2 right after 4, right? But we didn't know one of them was going to be South Florida. And if you just erase the South Florida game and look at it, the season doesn't look as terrible as it seems and probably is. I'm not making a case for Billy. I'm not trying to say that he should be the coach. He deserves to coach the rest of the season. I'd like to see him have a Ron Zook contract, which is coach the team the rest of the year. Zook beat Bobby Bowden in Bobby Bowden Field after he'd been fired. So if there was a better guy there and available, Shane, who you gonna give the interim to? Who you gonna
I
give
don't
it
know.
to?
I have no idea.
Yeah, no, because there's not
I'm
one.
not worried about any of that.
Well, I know,
Um,
but the point that is my point though. There's not anybody.
no, there's not. There's not. Um, Here's a text on the Titanmore text line. What is Buddy's game day meal? I peg Buddy as a game day ritual guy.
Ritual guy, game day. No, I pretty much eat what's there in the lunchroom. I mean, I go up. It was pretty good this past week. The food fell off a long way recently. They brought it back a little bit. It used to just be a public sandwich or whatever, or Chick-fil-A box or whatever, which is cold. And look, I'd be willing to pay for my own food. I don't necessarily want free food, but you have limited space and time, and you have to grab something to eat and go. They had tacos and they had really good hot food this past week, and I got to enjoy my table there. Coach Spurrier and Jerry came by and sat down. We visited. That's one of the nice things about going to the ball game, getting to see people and visit a little before the game. So I don't have a ritual. I just eat what they serve.
Text here from Larry on the Titanmore text line. Buddy, who are you rooting for in the Major League Baseball playoffs?
Well, since the Rays can't be in, it's kind of hard. I go back with the Yankees a long way, or they got clubbed. 2 grand slams in one game. They're down 2-0 to Toronto. I've watched a little National League, but I'm an American League guy because of the Rays. So I'm just going to put it out there. I'm rooting for the Yankees to come back after being down 0-2. Let's see what they do.
I think you're going to see the Seattle Mariners and the Blue Jays
Well, there it could be.
in the championship.
Yeah, that wasn't the
Yeah.
question, but yeah, you're right. I think you're both good. And in Seattle, by the way, Tampa Bay got a hold of them pretty good when they were in there. Different team, but they were hot, and then they came into Tampa, and the Rays beat up on them pretty good. So
Yeah, a lot
yeah,
of people are picking Seattle to win it all.
well, yeah, they were a very hot choice. They were playing great ball for a while, and they dropped off, and now they're back again. There's so much firepower there, with especially the Dodgers are so hard to beat. They got a lineup to die for. They get men on base. They played great last night for 6 innings and then blew apart because the Dodgers can beat you with that lineup. They can manufacture 5, 6 runs in a hurry. They got the hitters. They got the bombers. So. And by the way, is Mookie Betts one of the all-timers? He's one of my favorite players. Boy, he's amazing what he does, where he plays. Both,
Yeah, I didn't realize they got him at shortstop now.
yeah, well, they play him all over, outfield, shortstop, and he hits home runs. I mean, you think he's 48 years old, but he's not that old. But he's been playing so long, he's been a stud, in my opinion.
Okay, so Shelvin says, I appreciate you, Shelvin, letting us know on Facebook Live brought to you by Melon. He says Andy Reid called consecutive timeouts last night, and the last drive
Oh, yeah,
resulted in a
yeah,
five-yard
yeah.
penalty.
Yeah. I did see that. Yes, that was. I wasn't even sure that was a rule anymore, Shane. I'm so
Oh, it is.
confused. Yeah.
Andy says, if Kerwin's QB does transfer, should he go to Power Four or Group of Five to prep for the NFL? I don't know if he's a big enough guy to play. He's a lot like Kyler Murray. He's about 5'10". He's like 175 pounds. Kerwin hopes he doesn't lose him, but Kerwin's lost so many not just Kerwin, but all those
They feast on
coaches
those
at that
teams.
level. They're
Yeah.
losing so many players to be backups
Yeah.
or go to
Yeah.
Power Four, Power Five schools or Group of Five
Yeah.
because of money. But his quarterback, Kerwin told me this last year when the kid played the last 4 games and was a freshman All-American and averaged like 400 a game. He said he is the best passer he's seen ever. Ever.
Well, what's
He
his
said
name?
his name is Tiger. Tiger's his nickname.
Well, Shane, you got dementia now because they told me last night 'cause I come up with Roman Harper's name last night. You got dementia, buddy. Okay, maybe I do. Sometimes we forget names. Okay,
Yeah, well, I know he's Tiger, but I can't remember. I like Tiger Atkins or something. I don't know. Somebody will
it's
let me
not
know here.
important. We're looking at somebody else.
But he
Andy will
is.
be there. Somebody will tell us.
But think about this now. Kerwin was down at the Dolphins with Dan Marino, and he's seen a lot of people throw the football. So
Yeah, he has that. He knows about throwing the football.
yeah, Mike wants to know when is Jacoby Jackson come back. I have no idea. I didn't even know he's hurt till before the game. And then before we get you out of here, buddy, this text on the Take No More text line. Hey, QB, hypothetically, the Gators hire Eli Drinkwitz. What about him? Do you think he would excite the fan base? I do not.
He's a good coach, Shane.
Well, he is. I'm not saying he's not.
He's not the sexiest pick, and he's not the one. But Florida's gotten burned going for the hot guy many times over recent years. I'm not a Drinkwitz fan. I didn't really like him that much. But now that I've studied him and know more about it, watch the teams play, I'm impressed. You could do a whole lot worse than Drinkwitz. Now, do you want Lane Kiffin? Yes. Do I want Lane Kiffin? Yes. Do I want Urban? No, I think it's a bad move for Urban. I don't think it's the right move for Florida. But I would say when you get it down to it, when you go through if Lane says no, you got to pick from somewhere. And to me, Drinkwitz is as good as anybody.
Alberto in Miami says, giggle when all these fans start making lists for the next coach. The man in charge will make the decision. He isn't listening to any of your opinions. Do you agree or disagree? Well, here's what I would say, Alberto. If our guys aren't most of the people's on his list, there's a problem. That's my point. Buddy, who you got on the program tonight? Tiger
nice.
Andy, appreciate it. His name's Tiger Dickens. He's out of
Tiger
Miami,
Dickens.
Northwestern.
What a name. How can we forget that? Tiger
Dickens.
Dickens.
Taryn is his real name, but his nickname is Tiger.
Well, of course. He's like after a famous golfer. Well, okay, we got that down now. We're okay. And so maybe we can commit that to memory. Tiger Dickens, all right? All right, so the show tonight is Lauren Meadows is hosting the Tuesday show. Rob Brown is going to be on with him. Other guys, it'll be a good show tonight, as it always is on Tuesday night. I'm packing up my bags here in Ocala, Florida, going back to the Panhandle on the way back there. So we got to tee it up again on Saturday. And Shane, you get to go out to Texas, have some of those Tex-Mex food, and I'll be listening and watching. And I don't know. Right now, it's a 7.5 point game. That I have no way to figure this. They're probably very vulnerable right now. I wouldn't want to put my money on 7.5 in Florida right now. Not because they aren't good enough, just the timing is wrong. And as you said last night, it depends on when you play somebody, where you play them, or whatever. This is going to be a tough one for Florida, but who knows? Hey, just another weekend, right?
Yeah. Buddy, have a good week. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Shane.
Buddy Martin,
Take
join us
care.
on the Take No More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Town. Quick timeout. We come back. We'll be joined by Will Johnson. He's a sideline reporter for the Ags. We'll get his thoughts on this game. You're watching and listening. Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Naysayers. Setbacks. Injuries. Life throws a lot of hurdles your way. The key is just keep jumping them.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles, Plus, you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
Our premium sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union,
International Diamond Center,
Meldon Law, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, JF Hayden Craft Liqueurs, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Los Linderos Tequila. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sporting Goods, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Meals Cheesesteak, Celebrate Primary Care, Dowling Sign, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Nest and Wow, MG&A Wealth Management. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. To become a sponsor, call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. Florida Crackers, a brand for original Floridians, great food, Southern hospitality in the center of the University of Brooksville, Florida, floridacracker.com. Back to the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We're joined by Will Johnson, sideline reporter for the Texas A&M Aggies. We appreciate you joining the program. Good morning, Will. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Not too bad. I guess you guys are happy for the Gators, right? Beating the hell out of the Longhorns.
It pleased a lot of Aggies down here in College Station. I'll tell you that much. We may get a hotter Gator team in return coming here to College Station, but no doubt a lot of the 12th man and a lot of Aggies were pleased to see Texas go down in the swamp on Saturday.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, let's talk about your team, the Aggies, obviously number 5 in America. Let's start with the offense. Has Marcel Reed, we all know he's a dynamic runner. Has he become a better passer?
I think he has. Most of all, what I think he's done is become a better leader. I think this offensive group gravitates to him. That has to happen with your quarterback. But as far as throwing the ball, I think what's happening is they're hitting a little better than they have in the past. I don't know if his completion percentage is much higher. He completed it around 60% last year. He's probably around that number this year. Not necessarily a high completion percentage, but those completions are going for so much more. I think he's got a receiving core now that can take it and run with it. Mario Craver, KC Concepcion, they're hitting big plays through the pass game. So if you look statistically, I don't think the completion percentage is much higher. It's just they're getting so much out of every completion because of those dynamic receivers. I think he still probably has to work on some accuracy. I think making a few better reads from time to time. I think that's still in his future. Needs for improvement there, but just one completion can go 50, 60, 70 when you're completing them to Mario Craver and KC Concepcion these days.
Yeah, the transfer portal was very nice at that position for the Aggies, no doubt about it. Defensively, I mean, this is what Mike Elko's all about. And I remember last year, I think it was maybe late in the season, you guys kind of were falling apart defensively, giving up a lot of yards. And he basically, I think I'm saying this correctly, he said, I'm taking it over. He's back in charge of the defense, correct?
Yeah, essentially he is.
Yeah, and I mean, just talk about the defense. I saw a stat, and I wish I had it here. I can't find it. But the third down conversion rate against y'all's defense is like historical right now, right?
Yeah, Auburn was 0 of 13. They backed that up with Mississippi State going 1 of 13. So just the last two teams to come to Kyle Field, that's a combined 1 of 26 on third down. So that's an incredible job of getting off the field. The thing with the defense is talking to Mike Elko yesterday, and we were talking about the defensive line. Up front on defense, they lost 3 NFL draft picks. So I think the natural thought would be, well, they're going to regress on the defensive front. You can't lose 3 guys to the NFL and be better. But I think that notion sort of upset Mike Elko. and he had to remind everybody, since I've been the defensive coordinator and head coach, the Aggies have had 11 draft picks on the defensive front. Hopefully you guys will give us some grace on the fact that we reload, we don't rebuild there. Well, lo and behold, they have good defensive linemen. That's where it all starts. Cassius Howell has turned into an incredible pass rusher. He had 3 sacks against Mississippi State. Earlier this year, he had 3 sacks in a game. No Aggie's done things like that since the Von Miller days around here. So the key to that defense is the front has not dropped off any despite losing those 3 NFL draft picks. And Mike Elko, he knows how to pick them. He can evaluate talent on the defensive front. And he's got a new group in there that just reloads and they don't rebuild. But they make it easier on everybody. The linebackers flow freely to go make tackles around the line of scrimmage. Secondary is very active. They've improved. So all of that leads to a better defense when you think about no drop-off up front, and it makes life easier on the guys behind that defensive front, the linebackers and the secondary.
Yeah, Andy's question for you on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, says, Will, how pleased are the Aggies with ex-Gator Scooby Williams, and will he play Saturday, or is he still hurt?
He's missed the last 2. My personal opinion is that he was really close to being available last Saturday against Mississippi State. That would suggest I would think he would be ready for this Saturday. So I thought he was going to have a chance to go in the last game. So as he gets healthier and healthier, I would expect him to be available this Saturday. We'll see what that availability report has. You have to put that out later in the week. We'll see what it says, but he's been fantastic. A linebacker. You knew you had Torian York and Scooby Williams at linebacker this year, and I think what's pleased most Aggies is the depth behind them. Damian Sanford's playing well when he's had to step in for Scooby. But when you get Scooby back in that rotation, it takes that linebacker core to a whole nother level.
We got a bunch of people asking on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, what your thoughts are on the 3 permanent opponents for the Aggies starting next year, the 3 SEC opponents.
I expected LSU and Texas. That didn't surprise me. I believe we got Missouri as the other. I think a lot of Aggies expected somebody different. A&M's got a little bit of history with Arkansas. When you go back to the days of the Southwest Conference,
right,
we thought maybe they would be one. Smaller, but some history with Oklahoma because you were with them in the Big 12 Conference. You thought maybe that would be possible, but I don't know if anybody would want a permanent rotation of LSU, Texas, and Oklahoma. That might be a little daunting, but Missouri was the outlier to most folks. Yeah, before that was announced, there was the rumor that Mississippi State would be that third permanent opponent, and that would be a little random to most Aggies. But I think you're fine with LSU and Texas. I think you like those rivalries. You want to keep them as best you can. And for me, having graduated from here, having worked here for 20 years, that third one was, I'll take who we get as long as you keep those pretty good rivalries there with LSU and Texas. If the third one was a little random, like it is with Missouri, that's fine with me. But I think a lot of Aggies, they were hoping for something like an Arkansas or sticking with that Mississippi State rumor that they had heard.
Text here on the Titan Mar text line from James. He wants to know, for visiting fans, are they allowed to attend the midnight yell practice?
Yes, they are. Midnight yell practice is free, and the gates just open up to Kyle Field, and you can walk right in. I believe it's the southeast gate. If you're looking for where to go at Kyle Field, I think I'd have to check that, but I think it's the southeast gate that opens up. It is free. It is walk right in and attend. If you're an Aggie fan, if you're a Gator fan, you're welcome to be there. The gates open usually for midnight yell at 11:30 p.m. Midnight yell will last up until around 12:45 a.m. So if you don't think it's going to affect your sleep at all, you're more than welcome to come and walk right in the gates when they open.
Last thing before we get you out of here, Will, what has to happen, in your opinion, for the Aggies to beat the Gators Saturday night?
I think it's going to be a pretty evenly matched game. I mean, I don't really look at records a ton when it's an SEC game. Obviously, there's going to be a ton of talent on the field. Here's the first thing I would tell you about A&M. I mean, they're 5-0, they're undefeated, but one thing that's very glaring to Mike Elko and everyone down here is they're still a mistake-prone team. A&M is the worst in the SEC as far as penalties per game. And some of them have been very costly. Now, you get a big punt return or a big play, and all of a sudden there's a holding call. That doesn't cost you 10 yards. It could cost you 30, 40, or 50 when you hit a big play and it's coming back and you lose the 10 more. A&M has just amassed an incredible amount of penalties in their last 3 games, even though they're all 3 big wins, 13 against Notre Dame, 13 against Auburn, 9 more against Mississippi State. I don't know what really decides this game except for really who makes the plays when they count, because I think it's going to be a 4-quarter game. But staying on the right track and continuing to win for A&M starts with cut out the penalties. They're minus in the turnover margin. Cut out the turnovers. They are making mistakes and still finding ways to win games, but they can't live like that for too much longer. The penalties and the mistakes, that's step one as far as winning on Saturday. They can't continue to play like that.
Will, appreciate your time. I know you're a busy man. We appreciate you giving us a little insight on the Ags, and we'll see you on Saturday, my man.
All right, appreciate it.
Yep, that's Will Johnson from the Texas A&M Radio Network. Join us on the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Town. Quick timeout, come back. We got a ton of stuff for me to get to here. It's going to be me and you folks the rest of the program. You're watching and listening to Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Naysayers. Setbacks. Injuries. Life throws a lot of hurdles your way. The key is just keep jumping them.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. The Pouncey Twins provide all of Gator Nation with the highest quality liqueurs made by J.F. Hayden Craft Liqueurs. Find your favorite flavors at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We can only have Will for a few minutes. He's got a meeting to get to. We appreciate his time. Gosh, I saw this text here after we got off the air with him from Rick on the Titan MR text line. He wanted me to ask Will to explain some of the Aggie chants that are very unique. You ain't lying. I tell this, you know, I'd only been to A&M. What did we play there 2 years ago, or was it 3 years ago? It was the game where their entire defense was sick or something. Jimbo was still the coach. We beat them. I remember AR had a bunch of touchdown runs, but I was so fascinated with their fans because, you know, they don't have female cheerleaders there. They have the yell leaders, and they space these guys out in their little white outfits. They're not all together, like, you know, like a cheer squad. There's like one in every section around the stadium, and they're doing those chants, and the fans are doing them too. And I just stood there in the press box, which is, my goodness, are we high? And that thing moves, sways. But I just was videotaping the fans and these yell leaders because it was fascinating to me. Kind of goofy, but fascinating. MSRK on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, "What's the latest on Lagway's hamstrings or hamstring?" I don't know. I don't even know if it's the same hamstring. Maybe y'all do, but give him credit for gutting it out. Like I said, I don't know if they shot him up, gave him something during the game last week, but I was surprised that he was able to finish that game and shoot. Hopefully he'll be ready to go. I mean, he ain't gonna be 100%. He'll probably be about 60%. but it is what it is. Baron71 on YouTube, brought to you by Quad Pump, said, "What QB? Would you go less double tight end? And if so, what would be your wide receiver lineup depth chart?" I don't mind 12 personnel here and there. We ran a lot of it the other day with some success. We ran it a lot under Coach Spurrier. People don't remember that. We used to run 12 personnel to throw the football. Just two-man routes. Good protection. We'd slip a tight end out every now and then, but that's where if people remember, I think it was the 4th and 16 or 4th and something against Tennessee in the first half. Coach goes for it or whatever, and Danny hits Riedel Anthony for the post. That was 12 personnel, folks. 2 tight ends. So to answer your question, if we lined up in 11 personnel, who would be my 3 wide receivers? It'd be Dallas Wilson, Vernell Brown, and well, they started those 2 and Sturdivant. I'd probably go with that, or put Mizell in there for Sturdivant, but I don't know if they play the same position. In this system, I think they're set like you're a slot guy, or you're the X, or you're the Z. Most teams are like that, but you got to have 1 or 2 receivers that can play all the positions, right? Good question, though. But we're still going to run some 12 personnel. There's nothing wrong with it. If we execute, nobody gives a damn if we're in 14 personnel. Really. Go Gators wanted to know what was Will's pick for the best place to eat in College Station. I've only eaten at one place, and it was the best steakhouse I've ever been to, and it's the Republic. It has Republic in the name. Somebody on here would probably know better than I. Go there, but you probably can't get in. This text on the Titan Mart text line, I think it's from Kevin, says, "Shane, why hasn't Kerwin ever been a head coach in D1?" Great question. Sometimes it depends on who your agent is. But I'm telling you, Kerwin has won at every level he's coached at, a national or state championship or conference championship. He's good, man, but he's 60 now. And I do think, like I told you, Kerwin will never be an offensive coordinator for anyone, because he went through that experience with Charlie Strong at South Florida. It was a disaster. And he left a national championship squad at Valdosta. I think the only place he would be an OC at would be at Florida. And somebody was asking, didn't he interview with Muschamp? I think he did, but Will went in a different direction. But Kerwin's got him a not a good team at Western, but they're going to cause some problems because of their quarterback. He is very, very good. When Urban Meyer wanted to introduce his high-quality tequila to the Gator Nation, he made sure to get it to the HBC and his team at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Dorn's Liquors. Go beyond with smooth Los Landeros tequila. Let's see, what else do we have here? Usually I'm not doing this by myself. My guests stay the whole time. But this says, the only thing DJ does I'm not a fan of is jumping to pass. He seemed to start limping right after one of those. Well, like I told you, it was the second drive or maybe the third drive going to the south end zone. We ran a naked bootleg out of the pistol. He faked, then started rolling out. And on about his third step, his hamstring grabbed on him. So he kind of jumped up in the air and threw the ball away. I've had that happen to me before. And, but he does, I mean, his fundamentals are not great. We all know that. But his fundamentals may be better now that he can't really move around, that he has to take his steps and plant and throw. And he kind of did that the rest of the game, quite honestly. MSRK says, keep the same plan as last week. Short passes to the flats, run the ball, stay away from the middle of the field. The Lagway pass that's where he gets in trouble. Yeah. Barone wants Kerwin as the head coach and Cade as the OC with head coach in waiting. Let me tell you something. Cade finally, I do know this because I talk to Cade and Kerwin once a week. For Pitt, they benched their quarterback. They're paying a lot of money. And Cade's been wanting to play this true freshman. But the head coach did not want to do it. Well, they made the change last week, and this dude lit it up. He's really good too. He's another one of them diamond in the roughs. I think Pitt beats Florida State this week in Tallahassee. Watch this quarterback, true freshman. Tatum, our text line, hey QB in the modern era, what are your top 3 coaching characteristics you like? How many does Napier have out of the 3? Oh man, put me on the spot there. I mean, my coach, I look at it differently because I don't want an offensive-minded head coach that calls his plays. I have no problem with that. And my 3 favorite are Jeff Brom, Lane, and Sarkisian. I love the way they scheme. I like how they use their talent. I like how they they all played the position so they know what their guys can and cannot do, if that makes any sense. Billy was an option quarterback at Furman. We all know that. But those, I'll have to get back on that one, Rick. That's a great question. I don't have time to think about it right now. Plus, I'm tired. I was watching that game too long last night. Charles on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel. Thoughts on James Franklin making it through the season? I think he's making some coaching changes or something like that. I don't know. I've always liked James Franklin as a person or whatever, but I've never been a big fan of him as a coach. I know a lot of people in this program had James Franklin, let's go after him. I don't know if this was last year or earlier this year. He just never done anything for me. And man, Penn State's talented now, really talented. But you cannot lose to that UCLA team. Just a poor football team. Kevin says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Shane, I thought DJ getting a nicked was good for him. He's a pocket guy anyway. Oh, getting nicked. Yeah. Yeah, I said this last year that he was a better thrower than he was a runner, because I just don't think he's that athletic from a running standpoint. Don't go blowing that comment out, but it's true. Richardson was the better runner. DJ's the better thrower. So, Go Gator says the sidearm pass DJ does scares the hell out of me as well. Well, that's the off-platform throw people are talking about. They're great when you complete them. But so what happened the other day, the one he hit on the shallow cross, I think it was the start of it. Somebody was right in your face. Beautiful job by DJ. Maneuvering the arm slot and making an accurate, catchable ball. That's the key. If he throws that thing hard or behind him, it's tipped and it's picked. But sometimes you have to do that. You only need to throw it sidearm or move your arm angle if you have to. You don't do it. Some of these quarterbacks in today's world with these off-platform throws, they just think it's cool. The dude last night for Kansas City, he just does it naturally. So Zach wants to know, what did Auburn do to hold the Aggies to 16 points? Auburn's damn good on defense. Very, very good. I would think you're going to see our same plan. Rush 4, keep the ball in front of us. We got a different issue this week. Although Arch was a really good scrambler, this Marcel Reed dude is an electric runner. So it's going to be interesting from that standpoint. This Day in Sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. 1984, Walter Payton passes Jim Brown as the NFL's career rushing leader. Sweetness. I still think he was the greatest running back of all time that I saw. Not even close. Andy wants to know, what is Kerwin's key to developing the 1- and 2-star talent? Because he recruits a guy. We talk about this once a week. He does not care if you're a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 0-star. He cares about your lower body, your feet, your understanding of throwing the football, your accuracy, and your anticipation. All his guys are the same guy. And he gets these diamonds in the rough, and they're good players because they do all the little things that the 24/7s and the on threes. All they care about are the 5 stars and these guys that go to the Elite 11s that can throw it 100 yards and throw a wall. Majority of those guys do not pan out. That's a fact. That is a fact. I mean, a prime example, look at Trinidad Chambliss. I think he's phenomenal. He is physically skilled, but he's 5'10", so nobody wanted him. But boy, he can see the field, and he is accurate and can anticipate. That's going to do it for today's program. Appreciate y'all bearing with me here. Tomorrow we'll have JC, and we got a couple of people for the second portion of the program. We're waiting on them as well. Again, thanks to Will Johnson from the Texas A&M Radio